welcome back, my dear brothers and sisters, for the second series of this amendment session. This particular chart, what you're seeing is with respect to chapter number 3. Chapter number 2, first and 1 and 2, we have already covered in the previous, series. If anyone have missed out, please check out the description. Link is there. You can actually, take it over straight away. Now, chapter number 3, levy and charge. Is there any amendment in this chapter, levy and collection of taxes? Absolutely no, there is no amendments, but there is some clarifications. One clarification is with respect to composition scheme, which I have already covered in the previous amendment, so I am not touching that. Another clarification is with respect to directors RCM remuneration or directors remuneration, and in which how RCM will apply. My dear brothers and sisters, we all know 200%, but again to clarify, if at all director is getting a remuneration which is out of his employment, out of employer-employee relationship, it is covered by Schedule 3. Therefore, it is neither supply of goods nor supply of services. It is outside GST. We can call it as a non-taxable supply. Whereas, clarification here is to clarify whether all the director enjoy this privilege. See, in our classroom discussion, you would have already taken down a note on this. Now, a further clarity has come to that particular, concept. So that is what I am here to explain. So what is this circular number 140 bar 10 bar 2010 dated 10/6/2020 says? In case of directors not in employment with the company, who are the directors not in employment with the company mostly? Non-executive directors or independent directors, and you make any payment to any remuneration you pay to these two people, then the company is liable to pay RCM for the services. And when it comes to directors who are into the employment of the company, that is managing director or executive director, now the provision says circular guides us further how we will ensure it's a remuneration, it's an employment. It says you please check how the entry has been booked in the books of accounts. If the books of accounts, in the books of accounts, if it is booked as salary, and if it is salary, TDS is to be deducted under section 192 of the Income Tax Act, then it is Schedule 3 transaction, neither supply of goods nor supply of services. It's outside GST preview, nobody is liable to pay GST. But if it is declared other than salary and TDS is deducted, the cross evidencing is TDS is deducted under section 194J, or any other section for that matter, then my dear, company will be liable to pay GST. So the thumb rule is check out first whether it is executive director or managing director. If that be the case, check out whether they are in the employment, with the company. Might be, sometime might not be. So if they are in employment with the company, then check out whether TDS has been deducted under section 192 or other section. If it is deducted under section 192, then it is outside GST. If it is not deducted under section 192, if it is deducted under any other sections, then company is liable to pay under RCM. And when it comes to directors who are not in employment of the company, basically non-executive directors, independent directors, women directors, okay, small shareholder directors, any such directors, then my dear brothers and sisters, please understand, company is liable to pay RCM. So this circular gives a further clarification. Previously, reading of the provisions, we are of the understanding if the director has been paid a salary as terms of the employment agreement, we understood it is covered by Schedule 3. Whereas this goes one step ahead and says if TDS deduction is also considered as an evidence. So one step I can also add further to this. So when you go to the GST audit to any company, please remember to ask for Form 16 issued to the directors, and that can also speak a volume with respect to how the remuneration has been reflected. So first take the signed financials. In that, as per accounting standard 18 AACT, related party transaction disclosure have to be given with a key managerial personnel, and from there you have to cross verify the form 16 issued, and within that form 16 you can get to know how it works. In addition to that, one step ahead, you can go and ask if the managing director or the executive director is in full-time employment with the company. You can also ask 26 A's from their side to cross-verify this confirmation. So, my dear brothers and sisters, one small request. This particular chart I would not have given in my amendment material, so I request you to please make a note of this particular chart. It's a error occurred while the material are getting uploaded. So in the website, the material is being given already, but this chart would not be there. Please include that. Please stop here and write it over there. Second, I am going to cover chapter number 4 today because I missed 2 days in between uploading a amendment for you. So what are all the amendments have come in chapter 4? 19A, 19B, basically it's outside your syllabus of inter, but for final students it's applicable. So basically what is 19A? Service by way of transportation of goods by an aircraft from a customs clearance stations in India to a place outside India. So basically from India outside India. So from India to US, UK, if at all I am transporting the goods, if at all I am transporting the goods by airway, there was an exemption placed in the law. And previously this exemption was only up to 30th September 2020. Now this was extended up to one more year, 2021. And anybody who has remembered the classroom discussions we had, I've been telling you time and again, this will be keep extended. This particular 19A and 19B exemption, every year it will be amended and every year it will be extended to one more year. So witness here one more time. It is from September 2020. It has got extended to 30th September 2021. So this is applicable for transportation of goods by airways. Transportation of goods by airways. You should have it back of mind. You should have this back of mind. Similarly, transportation of goods by vessel. Transportation of goods by vessel from one place in India to other place. Transportation of goods by vessel, that is also from India to outside India. This is also facilitation towards export. 19A and 19B both are facilitation towards export, and for that also extension of exemption has been granted from September 2020 to September 2021. And these two exemptions, 19A and 19B, this is relevant only for the final student, and this is not relevant for the CA intermediary students. So intermediary students, you can straight away look into the last one, and for all both, that is to say inter and final, for both the stream candidates, with respect to 19C is applicable. What is 19C? As you could see, satellite launch services carried out by, so it has to be carried out by two organizations. Who has to do it? First one is Indian Space Research organization, and second one is Antrix Corporation or New Space India Limited. My dear brothers and sisters, please appreciate, uh, Indian Space Research Organization is like a mother body. Antrix Corporation and New Space India, these are basically organizations, okay, which is like subordinates, which is the commercial wing of ISRO. ISRO will do the scientific research and will get to have the observations. But these two organizations will do all the commercial transactions or to commercialize the inventions and the effects of the ISRO. This, these two organizations are taking care basically. And what are all the services they likely do, my dear? Like as you could see, fixing this and taking it to the next level, like launching and ensuring that it reaches the orbit in a proper way and it comes in orbit in a proper circulation. All these services will be covered under the one broad head called satellite launch services, my dear. ISRO or Antrix or New Space, they are assisting with this kind of satellite launch services. Anything is fully exempted with effect from 16th of October 2020. Very, very important and mind-blowing amendment. This comes in the wake of ISRO achieving one world record. You all will be aware of last year India has done a remarkable achievement by launching highest number of satellites in a month. So India is holding the record for that. And after such record, it is quite obvious that other countries will also approach India for that. At that point of time, India is offering such an exemption is a welcome note, because it is like, sir, India is doing the services for whom, sir? Only for the domestic people? No, yeah. For Russians, for Chinese people, for a lot of for a lot of other space organizations, they are also serving this. So it's a welcome note from the exemption chapter. So today in this quick revision, quick stay positive and stay updated session series number 2, we are covering relevant amendments with respect to chapter number 3 and chapter number 4. And that's for the day, my dear. I'm going to catch up with you with the next set of amendments in the series 3. Good day, my dear. Stay positive, stay updated, stay home, stay safe. Good day, my dear. Enjoy.